There we go. So we're recording, and now I'm going to share screen.
I thought for a minute there I had to pull my, you're sitting on the second.
All right, how about now? Is everybody good?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right, so we've learned something today. It is 5:36 p.m. and we are beginning our special meeting of the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council Youth and Outreach Committee. And I go ahead and take roll, starting with the illustrious, our committee member emeritus, Lori Jacobs,
I am here.
and Thomas J. Norman.
Is Kelly on our board?
She's on the committee, yes.
Oh,
He's
having
taking
trouble.
roll. Don't interrupt him.
He's
Present.
having a hard time.
Present.
Thomas J. Norman is here. John Barbera, are you here?
I am here.
And
Mentally.
Ben Norman
Yeah, I'm here.
and Angela Sumner.
Here.
And Chris Valle is also here. So we have quorum. Kelly Miller is,
She'll be in soon.
yeah, she'll probably be.
I'm sending her the thing right now.
Okie doke. All righty. So again, you can all see the agenda. It's a reasonable size and everything.
Yes.
Okay. So we have welcomed, we have taken roll and introduced ourselves. So is there any public comment on non-agenda items?
I just want to say good luck to everybody that's running.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's coming up. It's, it's
Saturday.
my wife is a what is she? She's a cluster leader in UTLA, and she's vice chair of the Financing Public Education Committee or California Teachers Association or something like that. And so she goes through this stuff way more often than we do in terms of like how much time you spend doing this versus should I run again? And, you know, because there's always, she has to travel way more than, you know, we ever will for this, but she just did. And so we're going through that sort of like, she's going to run again next year. And it's like, yeah, if I didn't get elected to neighborhood council, I could do 98% of the stuff I already do and simply not have to be here right now. But, you know, good luck to us all anyway.
We got Pastor Adam is in attendance.
Oh, yeah, he did say he would be here and he's here. So welcome, Adam. Do you have any comment on non-agenda items? Doesn't seem like it.
I don't even see if he's, it just says he's on.
Yeah, he's in.
Yes, yeah, I'm here. No comment.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So just okay, so let's start to work our way down the agenda here. So John Barbera has already, we're on item number 3, discussion of return to in-person meetings. John Barbera has already stepped up unprovoked and unprompted to go and secure a room for us at San Pedro City Hall, which I'm very thankful for. And it seems like we have more or less what we need, you know, essentially the slot to just show up and do this this time next month. Are there any like logistics or anything else you think we need to do? Oh, and Kelly's here.
Me? Did
Yeah,
Kelly get in?
yeah, I promote. Yeah, there she goes.
Oh, okay.
And Kelly Miller is here. So we.
Hey, John Barbera, I have a question. Is the process the same when you go to that building? Do you need to show any kind of ID to get upstairs? And is
Well,
anything changed?
He didn't say anything, but you know, if we have our business cards with us, we could always show a business card and our driver's license if they need to see it.
Yeah,
I can
or
make
should
a
we-
suggestion the day
We
of the
wear our
meeting.
badges.
Yeah, well, not everybody has those, but maybe the day of the meeting, you call over to that front desk and just remind them that there's a neighborhood council committee meeting that day, just to
Okay.
preempt
can-
any potential issues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully they
okay.
have a schedule for the day, but who knows? I would assume that whatever security stuff they had in place pre-COVID is going to be at least that much going on now.
Chris, one
Yes.
thing that you may need to add for your future agendas, since you'll be meeting in person, it is a requirement that we're ADA compliant. So I'm thinking that all committee meetings that are held there, that you should probably have something on the agenda that tells people, because you know, if they're in a wheelchair, they can't go up the front stairs. but they can go around to Harbor Boulevard and push the buzzer and they'll let them in and they can come up via the elevator. Do you think we should create some type of canned comment that is on all our future agendas moving forward, telling people that if you are unable to use the stairs, here's how you can enter that building, so we meet our ADA compliance?
I believe we should, and as I'm looking at the current agenda, clearly we're not going to need or use all the verbiage in terms of the executive order, et cetera. So if not there, then elsewhere in the document, we should replace that with whatever sort of, I mean, these are the logistics for the current meeting up till the end of this one. And then going forward, whatever kind of particulars we'll need for people to get in, we should replace all that anyway. So this would be a good time, obviously, to.
So maybe we, as outreach, we could craft something, run it by Ray, and also run it by Tim's office, since they kind of run that building.
Yeah.
And then share that with all the committee chairs. This is, and I don't know if you need to run it by Octaviano too, so it meets the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment language. Which we were always supposed to be ADA compliant, and we never had it before, but now they're making a bigger deal out of it.
Well, we will have time to do that before, I mean, there'll be another executive committee meeting before the next board meeting, so I will bring it up there. Let me make a note here. ADA.
And John Barbera, did we get approved that we can have committee meetings there, that somebody from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment?
I just talked to Octaviano this morning. He said, not going to worry about it, that they haven't said nothing to him. He hasn't got anything. He said, just go for it. And, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, great. The only reason I brought it up is another neighborhood council, their particular NEA was being a lot more, I'll say diligent.
Yeah, no, I
Annoying
think
was the word I was looking for.
That's the key, is that in a lot of cases, if they don't come looking for you with some issue, don't bring it to their attention. I mean, they might not respond in timely fashion anyway, but you know, if it's not on their radar and we don't think it's a problem, then I wouldn't make it one.
I still think we should have at least one sentence on there, and it should
No, that's,
be,
yeah.
yeah,
that's
and when Christina puts her notices out, so if somebody wants to attend and they think they can't because of the stairs, they know they can.
Yeah, I'm making myself a note here, and that's, again, we're going to need to go through and clean up, prepare. I don't know if it's revert to or whatever. We're going to modify our agendas anyway, since a lot of that stuff's not going to apply anymore. So it'll be the appropriate time.
Is it Outreach's job to kind of make a new template for the committee meetings?
I wouldn't think so, because it's an internal document. It seems more like bylaws, but either way, I mean, that's why I'll bring it up in executive, because ultimately it would be an executive thing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we can put it right under, get rid of the Zoom HTTP, get rid of that.
Right.
And then all the other 3 lines below it will get rid of that. And then we can put what's in there is back in person, and, you know, and then.
Well, John, I understand that, but somebody needs to take ownership of creating a new template to send, it needs to be approved by the executive board and then sent out to the committee chairs.
Right. I will tell you one thing I'm doing. I'll be there Saturday from 12 to 6 or whatever. I'm going to actually set up a small booth over there with our stuff. I'm going to make flyers. I talked to Ray, and I'm going to let the rest of the executive board know. But we're going to make a flyer saying that we're back in person to in-person meetings here at Peck Park with the first meeting in April. And that everybody that comes over there, I can hand the flyers if they stop by the booth, and we can give them the flyer, and so they'll have it and know that we're not doing Zoom anymore. So I thought of doing that. I thought it was a good idea. So.
And I was also planning to be there to help for part of the time, because Chris, well, John and I are kind of the election committee, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that there's no candidate campaigning within a certain distance of the front doors. I'm not expecting that to happen, but it has happened in the past.
Are you sure that that's your specific, or is that responsibility been given to you? Because I would seem like that would be the city clerk's job.
You're right. It would seem like it was the city clerk's responsibility, but I think they're focusing on what's happening inside. So John and I just thought, in case they're not,
Yeah,
you
and-
know,
I got an email out to Naima, letting him know that there are a couple of people, that they need to watch out for and this and that.
John,
What?
But see, that's actually.
No,
no,
I was
you
gonna say,
don't- no,
I would say not to take on responsibility that isn't given to you, and that because
No, I know that, but I
No, the
talked to
run- let
Ray
me-
and Ray
let me-
said,
the running of an election is a city function, and I'm sure that that's above our pay grade. Of course, our pay grade being zero.
no,
but
I
there's-
understand. But we need to tell them about, okay, I'm gonna tell you that I'm not saying it, but there's a certain person that is bad.
John,
Yeah.
stop, stop.
Well, yeah, but I think, but what I'm saying is that if you don't actually see it happening, in which case you could only simply report it to an official anyway, I would say I wouldn't make any judgment preemptively or a heads up. I think that's even for them, it's like, I don't think that's something that they could act on. And I wouldn't, if I were you, I wouldn't want to get into that conversation unless you had some sort of, like, there that guy is right over there. If you have some evidence or something you actually
If
show them.
John,
All
if
you
John's
need
at a
to
booth giving out literature, then he could, and if I'm there helping him, if we see something, we can just say, hey, you can't be, a certain distance, or we can go inside and ask one of the city clerk representatives to come out and speak,
Yeah, I
which
think
would be
that's-
better.
Yeah. Just give them the
Yeah,
heads up.
You need to watch. Wait a minute. Talk about what you need to watch out for, not who you need to watch out for.
Yeah, and again,
Correct.
I would imagine their training would have covered that, but I think that's a good idea. It's like, give them the heads up and let them, if somebody's over the line, they'll know.
I'm assuming they have signage that says, like in a regular election, that you cannot campaign within, I don't know what the distance is.
It's
You
300
would
feet or something
think
like
that,
that.
right, you would think they would have that.
it's
I would
100
think-
feet.
Yeah, well, and again, it's honestly, I think for me anyway, it's a bigger issue because of how freestyle the last election was. The things that they allowed to have happen honestly would be like, if it were a more impactful election than this one, they would be criminal, but that's water under the bridge. And hopefully they just go back to doing things as per usual, and people are, again, when they know that the officials are right there, people are more inclined to behave. But
Quick
that's also
question.
a little bit off topic from our agenda item, but
And Angela was trying to say, ask a
Go ahead.
I
question.
have the perfect segue back to the agenda item. I just want to clarify something for the minutes. John, did you say that you're making flyers to advertise our move to in-person meetings in Peck Park?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for doing that.
you're welcome.
Right. Well, item number 4, cue the sad music, is our motion. Now, again, and before I go into that, I should point out that I had a work crisis on Friday evening, and I missed the deadline to have this posted as a regular meeting. This is a special meeting. I don't know if our action items then, and of course I can bring this up at executive next week anyway, but it may have to be moved by someone other than this committee. But what we're now entertaining is a motion to remove Lori Jacobs from this committee. And is there any discussion on that? Because I have some.
I'd like to know why.
I want to vote no. No, we want Lord to stay.
I think you might be able to get some momentum behind that.
Well, okay, I've been on this committee for like 10 years. Okay, and
So
now that
why
we're,
ruin a good thing?
I know if it's not broke, don't fix it, but my job is much more taxing. I have, as most of you know, health issues. I'm still, may seem like it, but I don't have the same energy that I did have before. I'm still recovering. And with us meeting in person, quite often when we do these meetings, I can go right back to work. I'm doing work and multitasking. And in person, I've had to pull back on some things. I've pulled back. Last month I left the budget and finance. I am staying as homelessness liaison, so which means I'm still planning to attend the board meetings in person. And I told Chris in my message to him, I still would love to participate in events as you run them. I can document the newsletter process or anything else. I'm here to consult, but just attending the regular meetings and also you guys, you need to wean off of me. It's like, and I speak too much at these meetings. I want to see you guys, come up with some great creative ideas, and you've got John, who's all of you, participate and care about this board. I think it's just was time for me to pull back, but I'm not going away. Just not
Bottom line is this: Lori's getting old, so it's.
Thank you.
Not any faster than anybody else does. See, that's the funny part. I don't know Youth and Outreach Committee, or for that matter, Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, without Lori. She's the one who reached out to me and suggested that I might like to do this. And at the time, it came like out of left field. Like, it is nothing that I had any interest in prior to, and just on paper, it didn't seem like the sort of thing, like I think of funny segments from Parks and Rec when I think of public meetings, and this has been a little less amusing than that, but a lot more productive. And so I would just like to thank you, Lori, for doing everything, because again, in this last 10-year period, it's like the stuff that you've Pathways to Employment by itself is gigantic. I mean, that's literally changing people's lives, right? And of course, and what I always say is the process of getting people involved is one of the most important pieces of work we can do. So, you bringing me in, and every time I try to, get somebody to participate or whatever, I think that's the important work. Just getting people to, put a little bit more time and energy into the things that they say they care about is a big, big deal, because so many people are at least mildly concerned or interested every once in a while and don't do much about it. So, for you to bring me in and for me to have the opportunity to, spread that word and do what little I can. And, I really appreciate it. And you're right, it is time for other people to step up. And when, you asked me to be co-chair, then, so that you're stepping down as co-chair. And likewise, when, I had considered being board president or whatever, I always think of all the work that you and Ray and Diana and Dan have done. And it's pretty intimidating. Like, there's some really big things, and just the scale of these things and the amount of work that's gone into them is very intimidating. But for me anyway, and I would say for everybody else, don't worry about being Lori. Don't worry about being Ray. We already have one of them. But do what you can do. You know what I mean? And so that's the attitude I'm taking, and I appreciate everything that you've done, because it's set a really, really high tempo. I mean, again, literally between, the sort of what I think of as the kind of Hall of Famers at Northwest, there's a lot of talent and a lot of work that is, if you're willing to come in the door, it seems like big shoes to fill. But if you think of it in terms of, well, just do what you can do and try and at least have the right attitude.
Chris, I appreciate all that. Let me just jump in and just say, we all care about our community, and on outreach, we have the opportunity to spread and energize people and open ideas and opportunities for people to get involved. And so, that fed me in the work that I've been doing. And let me say, I was unelected from the board 2 years ago, and I haven't missed a board meeting yet. So I'm still around. I'm not going anywhere. I just have to pull back on the commitments. Okay. And I'd love to see us really recruit more energy from people in the community who obviously care, and, delegate and divvy up the work so it doesn't have to fall on one person. It's always been a labor of love for our community that drives me, and I think drives everybody else. And John living next door to him, he just like, what are you doing, lady? And then he just jumped right in. So I'm not going anywhere. I just had to pull back. I hope you guys can understand that I have to have focus on my health right now. It's got to be number one.
No, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And these things are worth doing because a bunch of other people are involved. It could, I guess, be 3 or 4 people doing, crazy amounts of work or whatever, but it really, in terms of a lot of things, it doesn't mean much if other people don't kind of, pitch in. And so that's, and case in point, I'm very happy to have Pastor Adam with us this evening, a good example of somebody who's coming in from elsewhere in the community, sees what we have going on and is interested in being a part of it. And hopefully the things that we do are effective enough and professional looking, and the people have, we have the right sort of social and community connections, that people see what we do and, find value and want to be part of that.
Okay, move on. Enough talk about Lori.
Well, if she's leaving, I'm leaving.
No, stop.
Yeah, you're still way too active. If it wasn't for John Barbera, I would, we wouldn't have started the meeting yet.
John Barbera is on more committees
be
than
here.
anybody else.
Yeah. But
I
that's,
don't know why.
it's an impressive work rate. It's inspiring. And, I think
Look, I think like you said, everybody, I mean, if we had everybody doing what we do, just think what we could do for this community. That's how I look at it.
I think that's one of the things that San Pedro really has going for it. I mean, we're a little provincial. We're kind of off to the side in some ways. I think the town has, a little bit of an attitude about itself, but we have the ability to organize and feel connected amongst ourselves that I know that other parts of the city don't have. And that's something we absolutely have to exploit, because in a lot of ways, other people be more than willing to let San Pedro kind of slide off the end of the peninsula into the ocean. We have to make ourselves relevant and, and keep that type of energy high.
Before we leave, I was just joking when I said you couldn't leave, Lori. You made a big mark on me, on Alec, I know, family member, impressed and are just a model for the youth in our community. So, know that I totally agree. You need to take care of your health. You're doing a lot. We'll probably see almost as much of you, if not the same amount, because of who you are. But, I'd encourage you to please take a little bit of a break, and whatever we can do or whatever I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you for all the service and the great example you've been.
Don't forget
Not
about your
too
other
long.
children. Me and Abby have both been affected too.
Yeah, well, I thought you would speak for yourself, Ben.
No, well, thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Lori.
You guys, you're
Thank
most
you,
welcome.
Lori.
All right. Well, there is still some parliamentary procedure to observe here. So,
Why do
as-
you have to vote on this?
I don't know, do we? Or we just submit it?
Just put it through to the consent calendar for the executive board. You don't need to
Okay.
vote on this.
All right. Well, fine then. Have it your way.
At least it'll be something a couple
This is
people
the
at
type
the
of
board meeting.
expertise and knowledge that we need, though. Like we would still be debating this if we weren't there.
Chris, there's a couple of board members who would probably,
order.
wholeheartedly say, go, get rid of her.
Yeah, well, we're already not listening.
Okay, sorry.
They could say a whole bunch of stuff. I'm never gonna clock it. All right, well then let's move on, shall we? Happier but also productive news. Social media is doing really well. I'm pulling up the number. Instagram lets you easily review the last 90 days of activity. I would honestly, and I don't know if there's a way to do it, maybe I have to submit some kind of request, but I'd like to take a look at the last couple of years. But in the last 90 days, which would take us back to the end of September of last year, we have a almost 12% increase in followers. And so at this point, again, over 90 days, it's about 4.5% accounts reached, which includes, so people who've seen posts and things like that and not necessarily followed, but maybe they've liked or engaged somehow. I don't have similar numbers from Facebook, but we are sending the same right now. Everything that goes on to Instagram is going on to Twitter and Facebook. And I know for sure that the Twitter engagement is very, very low. Facebook does okay, but essentially it's like hanging a paper flyer out somewhere, and people will be walking by and see it. They don't all stop and tear one of the little tags off, but Instagram is just a lot more detail oriented and that sort of thing. But what it does say is that as I would say infrequently, we don't have something up every day. I'm pushing for kind of a couple times a week and or whenever anything significant happens, just a photo or a video if I have time or whatever, a graphic. But I guess the science, quote unquote, of this thing is that the more you post, the higher, the more readily your stuff is visible by your followers, and the more likely people who I guess it pushes you up incrementally in I forget the name of it, Instagram has essentially a feature where things that you wouldn't normally see will pop up if you're looking at something related. So I think based on the people who have been following us, people who follow other neighborhood councils or other city functions, things like that, are more likely to see our stuff, even if they don't follow us already, when we post more often, and other people, third parties are liking and following. So that seems to be.
Chris, are you gonna do a full court press this week for the election? You
That's what I
know,
was gonna ask, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think there, I'm trying to think of exactly what, because the timing and all of that stuff is important, but I'm thinking between now and Wednesday, I'm just, I would like to do something more impactful than just a graphic, but I don't know what I can collect at this point in terms of other media. So I am thinking about that.
You just need to tell them that if they're an eligible voter, they can come between 12 and 6 and they can register right there. They don't need to have registered in advance. Just keep it real simple and not just post it on ours, but go to the other major San Pedro social media pages. And it's Coastal also has their election the same day, but just focus on ours. Central does not have an election, but
Yeah.
I would do it every day this week.
Yeah, I think I'll talk to Christina and again, it does, just in terms of a banner style graphic, it doesn't take an awful lot of time to put that together. And if I have time and or resources, maybe I can put something together for Wednesday, Thursday to kind of boost it a little bit more. But yeah, what seems to be happening is that the more it's not rocket science, it's Instagram science, but the more we post, the more people end up kind of stumbling over our stuff, and some of that turns into retention. So the numbers are good right now. Our total followers are 767, and I can remember not that long ago when it was, I think in I want to say during COVID, it was probably 350 or something like that. So I think over the last couple of years, it's grown quite a lot. And at the rate, if it's 12% over 90 days, that's not bad at all. And so what we just need to do is keep looking for things and taking it easy. I went to the town hall for the 1-5 and took a couple of pictures there that, that gets people's attention. And it wasn't anything that they wouldn't have been able to find out from the council member, but it's us essentially photobombing or stepping into that thing. And that, I am trying to be thoughtful about how we move forward, because it should be not focused or preoccupied with being a social media channel. But if you're going to have an event, if you do have, if you're collecting socks or running an election or whatever it is, that's a great way, to reach out to people who wouldn't normally have a conversation with. So
well, Chris, John's going to be there now. So now that John's going to be there, then you could do some of your posts saying, talk with a couple of board members and learn more about it, or something that, so it's not just, learning, voting for your grassroots government.
Yeah.
There'll be an opportunity to learn more, talking one-on-one.
Do we also in any of the advertising talk about like what defines a stakeholder or what our boundaries are so that people read it and know that it applies to them and they can go vote?
We send them to the link on the website because it's so
Right.
complicated. How can you put it in an Instagram?
it's an awful lot of stuff to fit into a single graphic, even with a larger
as long as the
format.
information is out there, it's perfect.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If people do if people have any intent to get to the website for a piece of information, it's laid out in such a way that at least for instance, if you go look for the minutes for one meeting, you'll see all the other ones. So if they're really going there to find something out, they're going to have to essentially sort past a bunch of other information. And so if anything catches their interest, at least it's kind of all out there. But yeah, that's the type of thing I'm thinking, some of that, I'm looking now, the last few things that we posted have been photos of the auditorium for the town hall, the front page of the Advocate when local superintendent Spicer was at Dana Middle School, career fair, another, and those have all done reasonably well. I see some of the same names over and over again, but again, we're seeing new names. Photos always do better than graphics. Videos always do better than photos. And so you do have kind of a escalation in terms of how much energy goes into
Chris,
getting that stuff.
Two things. One, can Christina provide analytics on our website to see how many people have clicked on election information? And the other thing is, I just realized I am I am one of your Facebook posters. If I'm dropping out of the outreach, perhaps I have to give that up.
Probably, although you can still, suggest things through the same channels, but yeah, we probably, if you're not on the committee, then probably.
I'm an administrator, so like I'll share a career fair or things like that.
Right.
All right.
Well, yeah, if I would say just submit them to the committee and then we'll get them to Christina.
Okay.
It'll be it just essentially one more step,
Yeah. And then as far as analytics, I'm just wondering if you could see how many people specifically are clicking on the election information that we put together. But
if I just had to guess, I would know there would be some. I don't know if that's something she does regularly, but I'll ask her. It would be good to have, even if there's just kind of a report that it can spit out for you. Those numbers are good. That's the type of thing I wish we could have with the advocate. But I'm sure there's more skilled people or people with more experience who could probably tell us how to maybe start to tie some of those things together. But
what you can also do is, we have lots of really great information on our website. If you look under the resource list, everything from tenant rights to the Christensen Science Center, all different things. So maybe, Chris, every week you could pick a couple of those in your posts and put a link to it. And hey, learn more about this, learn more about that.
That's a good idea. Yeah. And,
put all that on our website. We might as well promote it.
Right. And a lot of stuff we use the, link in bio, because again, Instagram is a relatively small format. If there's anything kind of substantial, you have to direct them back there anyway. So maybe I should just go pull things. And this is another reason why, we're starting to second guess our decision to let you out of here, because you're entirely too useful. But I think it's a good idea in the absence of any other suggestions, just going, because Christina is obviously building the website out constantly. If we don't have anything else, we can just maintain a regular posting schedule by digging something out of there. And
she changed the format of your front page on the website. Did she discuss that with you or just do that on her own?
If I remember correctly, and I'm looking at it right now,
because I don't remember the committee ever discussing this. Now, I noticed it, a while back. I was used to looking at the calendar, but I have to admit it, I kind of like the new look. Just wondering if the rest of the committee has noticed the new look on our page.
I noticed, and I thought it looked better. It's probably easier for, I was familiar and had some habits, but I think if I look at it from a outsider's point of view, like a student's point of view, I think it's a little bit clearer and cleaner.
Yeah, it seems like, well, rather than a list of text, a bunch of lines of text that you have to essentially read all the way through, just the grid layout. And if I remember correctly, she mentioned that she was going to do it, and I took a look at it, and I said, okay, but what'll happen is when she does postings and stuff like that, she may email or text, and I may take a quick look. And it didn't occur to me at the time that the entire committee would possibly want to take a look at it, but if I know she's working in the middle of the night and it looks like it's been done properly, I tend to kind of trust her judgment on those things.
I would suggest, though, in the future, if she's got major layout changes, that this committee have a chance to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, in this case, though, I think what she's done is added more graphics and put it into just a layout format that it makes it easier to jump to a particular thing more quickly without having to know that it's there already. You can notice something and then zoom into it without having to know specifically what you're looking for.
Well, maybe that's something you should promote too on one of your, check our new layout on our website. I mean, There's lots of things you can promote.
Yeah. All right. So any other questions, comments, input on social media? It seems like this week will obviously the thrust will be the elections. All right, and now on to the bigger picture. Item 6 is long-term planning for summer and fall events. I know we had floated the idea of, I think, up to 2 movie events, and then in general, doing a little bit more nose to the ground or ear to the ground. Is it nose to the wind, ear to the ground? To find other events that we could participate or collaborate in, as opposed to having to come up with the entire thing ourselves. It's easier than going through city clerks and done all the time. And it's also easier in terms of time commitments and logistics and all that stuff.
Less expensive too.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like money's a big deal right now, but hopefully when we're back well, not hopefully, but when we're back in person, I suspect there'll be a variety of things that we're going to end up spending more money on. So it's nicer if we can be more thrifty and efficient up front.
It's not that we don't have enough money, it's the money approval process that we have to go through.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot harder to do anything quickly. Maybe we can afford it, but having to wait 2 months, to really kind of get it all signed off on is a hassle.
Well, I would suggest you consider having a booth at First Thursdays. But not just a booth, you got to think about something that you could do that's fun there. John always has those great ideas of kids crafts or, something, not just, information. Does anybody have any ideas of what, knowing the crowd that goes to First Thursday?
Well, I did think, obviously, if you want to engage, giving something away for free or something like that is always a way to get at least some face time with people. But I was thinking of maybe something interactive, but not tied into any specific like materials or whatever, like a photo booth or some kind of, I think maybe we could think about spending some money on a backdrop, like a seamless backdrop with a logo or hashtag or something like that. And it would be put it in a place where people could walk by and do selfies. And it'd take a little bit of design to get something that people would want to stop and have a photo taken with, considering they do that type of thing all the time. But it would be a way maybe to get other people to kind of promote our social media stuff and to kind of, get our name into other conversations. I don't know.
I like that idea. I think that's a really good idea.
Are you thinking of one with like a hole there where you put your face in, or?
It could be something like that, or even just a spot where we set up with again, I'm thinking of First Thursday and where that happens. There aren't necessarily like automatically sort of scenic locations, but doing a little scouting and finding like a place where if you were to just do a street photo of yourself, anyway, we could kind of.
Yeah, I think you have to get permission from the chamber for a particular location at First Thursday, and Kelly has her hand up.
Kelly, go ahead.
What would be nice is like if we could do like a backdrop of like the Vincent Thomas Bridge where it looks like people are walking on it. I don't know if you could do a green screen one and have people take a picture in the green screen and then just, like they could pick up a couple backgrounds and they could pick it and do it like that.
That would actually, that would be one of the ways that technology would make it much, much easier. And so, yeah, the photo part of it we could provide. I'll look into how easy that is to set up, but that's the type of thing I was thinking. Just basically something that was quick and fun that we could sort of, get them to attach themselves to our messaging and that sort of stuff. And then, it will be a chance to say hi, get a signature, hand them a news letter or something like that.
Yeah, people really like the backdrop. My daughter-in-law is really good with all the backdrops and photos ops and all that stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I already have the hardware for a seamless, and so if we were to spend, I don't know how much it is to get one custom printed, but not a huge amount. Our green screen is maybe $25, but it would be something we could do relatively quickly and cheaply. It's not difficult for any one person to set up.
That would
It'd be
good.
nice to, like, I would love to walk across the Vincent Thomas Bridge on paper.
Yeah, but that's as the weather gets warmer and drier, probably, hopefully, those evenings will be pretty useful. Time, the days will be longer. It'll be, light out and everything. And it'll be a nice opportunity to do that stuff. First Thursday in, November, December is always a little rough, and this year in particular. So hopefully we have a nicer spring and summer and, can do more of that face-to-face stuff. But did, John, we talked briefly about sort of ballpark dates or regions of the year where we might approach a movie in the park.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe the week, a few days after 4th of July, we could do the first one. And what we're talking, I was telling Chris, I said, what we could do is one then, and maybe the one in October, because there'll be, if we wanted to do it a week before Halloween, it might be, there'll be a lot of people, you know, a lot of the cities will be doing it. And that might be, so we might, maybe can do it sometime like first week of November or second week, and do more like a holiday one, you know. I think what we should do is everybody come up with a list, you
Well-
know? Yes, go ahead.
Oh, so I had volunteered to come up with some movie ideas the last time we discussed it, and so I have a list.
Okay, well, I'd like, if everybody can come up with, I tell you, we do it like this. We've done this in the past. Everybody just come up with 5 movies that they would think kids would like for the summer, and 5 movies they'd like to see towards the winter. And, you know, let's, on the next meeting, you know, next month, since we're going to be there virtual, you know, to in person, we can get a better discussion. That's how we used to do it all the time. And then we can talk about it and say, oh, no, that movie, you know, this, you know, this movie's okay, you know, and, you know, I cried when I saw this movie, you know, just let's go through it, and then we could do it that way. Because then we need at least a couple of months to get this thing going. And,
Right, which
Are you talking about an old yellow revolver?
Oh, say again?
Sorry, are you talking about an old yellow reviver?
no, I'm just saying any movie, you know.
That's that's the only one I could think of off the top of my head that made me cry.
Oh yeah, Old Yeller. I think everybody cried at Old Yeller. No, I was.
Still haven't seen it. I understand that bad things happen.
Yeah,
Angela, what
There's
did
no
you-
reason to see it, Chris.
yeah. But like, there's other movies that are out, the new ones that kids like, was Pinocchio or this or that, you know, whatever's out there.
Yeah, there's
you
a
know,
lot
like-
of movies from that period that are also problematic in other ways. But
Like-
Angela, what did you have actually on your list?
Oh, okay. So I went to the Swank website and pulled all the new release films
Oh, good.
that have the rights available. And I pulled a non-representative sample group of friends. And of the 5 that were listed, the top 3 contenders were Puss in Boots, Minions: Rise of Gru, and Turning Red.
Oh, okay.
And let me just double check. There were 2 more that fall into the category. I was looking at under 100 minutes because like there's Sonic, but that's 2 hours. And I feel like that's a long time to ask kids to sit outside in the dark at night.
Yeah.
Angela, are there any sing-along movies? The ones where they show the words and they sing with, like
Crocodile.
Frozen?
You know, I was looking at the new ones. I'm trying to think. There was Encanto last year, but that wasn't available yet to rent. It probably is now, but that's what we did last year. It was DC League of Pets, Strange World, and then Sonic, but that one was too long. Were the other new releases.
Hmm.
As far as
Lyle Crocodile.
what's that?
Lyle Crocodile. It's a musical.
Yeah,
That looks cute.
I didn't see it on the Swank website, but I can double check.
It's new.
Yeah, and they have some, and they like even movies where the rights are going to be available in the fall are already at least listed on the website.
Oh, that's good.
The other thing I wanted to propose, just as another alternative, is that the week that we did the movie in the park last year was the Saturday right after school got out. And it was a really fun, like, summer kickoff. Like, I'm wondering if that might be part of the reason we had such a great turnout, because everyone was so excited it was summer vacation. And then we have this big community event.
Yeah,
It was also one of the first times they got to meet in person after COVID.
That
All
is
right.
true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, I was talking to some people, and a lot of people this year, since they've lifted everything, they're gonna go on vacation, and a lot of them are gonna take off the minute they get out of school. There's a lot of people that are gonna take off too, so that's one reason why I figured in July.
But then
Well,
they're gonna miss, they're gonna go in July too, so they'll
They're
just
going to
miss
go
our
for
movie then.
right.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, and we just gotta find out from, you know, when we wanna do it, when school is out, and we'll do it like we did a week after the school was out,
I think that was good timing.
you know,
That was Angela's idea.
yeah. And we can
Yeah.
see with Bogdanovich, I can talk to Selena and see what's, you know, if there's
Oh, yeah,
anything.
We do have to.
Yeah.
talk.
One thing that occurred to me, I think it was today, they just approved a new school calendar. And I think the major changes is that the winter break's going to be shorter, and that school is going to be letting out earlier. Obviously, that's not going to apply to this year, but I'd maybe think of the length of the day. And if we have an event in October, as opposed to like if we do it before the time change, we basically get, or no, we're setting the clock. What am I trying to say? Earlier in the year, essentially, is a longer day. And I'll do a little bit more research in terms of what the sunset time is in a particular day. But if it's darker, if we wait till later in the year, it'll be darker at any given time once after the time changes, and the days are shorter. So that might help us with the event where, you know, when it's closer to the middle of the year, we have to essentially wait until 8 something, or it's starting to sneak up on 9 before it's actually really dark outside. So just in terms of that, we might be able to position it, you know, it could be just a few minutes, but in terms of, you know, getting the movie rolling and, you know, that sort of stuff, it's an important logistical thing.
November 5th is time change.
Oh, that's really late. Yeah. If it's not cold and raining by November, then I'm going to be really worried.
Yeah, but we did well in November before, because October, we always had to compete with the other Halloween ones.
That's true.
And then in December, there were all the holiday ones, but nobody did anything in November. So we had a good turnout then.
Oh, well, that's not to, well, and again, you know, I doubt that I have seen my last warm November, so maybe we will have, you know.
And from
But
what
it's
they're
just something-
saying, it's supposed to be a hot summer.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. If it's not muggy, then I'd be really surprised. But that's
Are,
just
are you planning to do anything else with this, or is it just a movie? Like, in other words, in some years, we had games before the movie started. We brought over Dean Dana and they showed their critters and did a little educational thing.
Well, we still want to do that like we did last year. It worked out really good. Kids were going up there, and you know, we still can do that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to have, you know, kind of multiple features that are, you know, not too involved. I was actually at an event yesterday up in Sylmar for Supervisor Horvath, and they had county parks out there. It was at a county park, but they had like people from their local nature center out, and it reminded me of that. They just had a bunch of tables so that maybe we could invite, you know, again, other organizations to have a pop-up or whatever, just have a few people. The same type of thing that we would like to do at their events, invite people to bring a, you know, a tent or whatever.
Kelly's got her hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
You know, it'd be fun, and I don't know why all of a sudden this is becoming a big thing again. I'm late on the bandwagon, but karaoke nights are becoming really popular again, and that would be fun to do. Like we could do a screen up and do some karaoke and have people just fill out slips of what they want to sing to, and, you know, have a karaoke thing. Have them bring their own dinners and have a park thing. I mean, I was trying to think of concerts, but we can't really afford a band, but we could afford to put some karaoke up.
Well, we might be able to afford a band, but the overall production, like in terms of the sound support and the stage, and I think the insurance that goes with all of that, really does start to get very expensive. But I think, you know, I'm sure that if we had karaoke somewhere, a lot of people would want to do that. I think the only downside would be the line of people who are waiting for their turn. But I mean, I think there's guaranteed like interest. Like if you had that event, absolutely people would come and do that. I think it's worth considering, although like organizing in such a way that people actually, you know, a bunch of people get to participate might be a little bit more of a trick. But that would be something that I don't think I can remember other people doing.
Yeah, I could check with a friend of mine too, that I think his brother or cousin does it. Then I could see what.
Yeah. I just did it 2 times this weekend, and I'm going to another one on the 31st. So I'm like, okay, like I said, I think I'm late to the bandwagon, but it's sure a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, everybody likes to sing at one point or another, and it is one of the easiest ways to do that in front of other people. Like putting the band together or whatever is an awful lot of work. Just having recorded music and getting up there for 3.5 minutes is something I think a lot of people would be willing to take a stab at.
I was thinking more along the lines that we'd have a craft table and make something that the kids, when they get there early, they love making things that maybe ties into the movie.
Yeah,
What'd you say,
on theme.
Angela?
I was gonna say the same thing you did. If it's
Yeah.
on theme, if it ties into the movie, that's a great
Yeah.
idea, Lori.
You show Dr. Doolittle and they make animals. I don't know.
I think that, well, the theme altogether is great. That's just great in terms of overall interest. If you call it, like if it's Halloween themed or if it's, on Valentine's Day or whatever, I think that just makes it more of a broad appeal in the first
Remember,
place.
our audience are mostly younger kids. So while karaoke is fun, I don't think you're going to get the 5 to 8-year-olds settled down enough to do organized karaoke.
Hopefully not. I don't want to hear a bunch of kids.
So that might be a different event, just not at the
What I'm
park.
saying, yeah, but it's also, but I do think it's the case, and it's I actually, as you mentioned that, Instagram does tell us the ages and some of the demographics of the, it's starting, like that's a way for us to get a sense of who's paying attention to what that we're doing, and which I think can kind of help. Not clearly being on Instagram, it does tend to skew kind of younger, but it will give us some insights as to who it is we're trying to speak to, like what type of events they might like. But it's also, again, having people Ben's age and whatever will be able to give us some feedback of like, what would people find interesting.
Kelly's got her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kelly.
What would be fun for if we did a karaoke with the kids is have them make instruments. We could easily make shakers with cups or paper plate tambourines, or there's a lot of instruments you can make really easily. And the kids would have a blast with it. They could support their parents playing with the instruments, and it would be a good family thing. And the whole family can do a song together. It doesn't have to just be, the whole family can do, like I was at the party last night where the son and the mom and the daughter-in-law and everybody did a song together. So it doesn't have to be just, one person singing. It can be a family event.
Wow. How about and we could have afternoon with the karaoke, and then when it gets dark, we show School of Rock.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be fun.
And and again, music is one of those things that like you can always find a it's a fairly broad, like, most people like it in one form or another, and the live aspect is always fun. But that, so we can maybe pin that and see what it would take to put that all together. But I think that, yeah, having a theme overall and having kind of multiple, like I remember, I think it might have been the first movie in the park event. I just remember Darlene Zavalny with a big witch's hat on, and I'm thinking, and Johnny was dressed up as Dumbledore. And when you have that sort of 3-dimensional aspect to it, I'm assuming this was a Halloween event. We showed ET or something like that, and that really does, like, that creates memories that people kind of hold on to. So.
Yeah, Darlene and John and I, we tried to get all the board members to dress in costumes, but we were the only 3 that were brave enough to do that. So, but yeah, E.T. was one of the most popular movies that we ever showed, because it crossed ages. Little kids hadn't seen it and adults love it. I'm curious, Ben, do you think there's any kind of movies that would get your age group out there?
Any like recent movies?
Or
I
any
mean-
movie, like Driving Miss Daisy or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe not that one.
Oh, no? Okay.
probably teenagers aren't our demographic for this.
I mean,
Like the Marvel comics, are they into that?
Marvel's fine. I think most teenagers will be fine with Marvel.
Yeah, we could have a cosplay thing. We show
I mean, I
Avengers.
don't know
and
if
have
that
everybody
many
dress up.
are good at cosplaying.
Yeah, well, that, I mean,
I
that
really
tends to be a lot
care.
more specific. Yeah, I but in terms of things that we could make more than the event, I mean, more than the movie itself. But no, I think we have, at least some good potential direction, some big chunks of stuff.
I do have a question. Say we wanted to move forward in July or even June. What do we need to do to get the ball rolling so that, what's required so that we can proceed based on that timeline? Because June is soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You need to pick a date. Okay, so you need to pick a date, a couple of dates, and then have you and John talk to Selena and see
Okay.
if those dates
Oh, Laura, you froze.
work.
Okay, so what were
So
the,
that would be the first thing. Picking them, you can always later, but that's the first.
is Lori cutting out or is it me?
Yeah, no, she cut out.
Okay, so
And-
I had June 10th as my option. John, you said July what? 8th?
Yeah, something like, during the middle of the week, after, when's 4th of July?
It's in the first week of July, if I remember.
The
Yes,
4th
please.
is on a Sunday. Oh, sorry, the 8th is on a Thursday. So
So something
Never
like,
done.
I'm sorry, that's June. July 4th is on a Tuesday. The 8th
Right.
was Saturday after. Is that what you were thinking?
well, that's a Saturday.
The 8th, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, something like that. And if we do it in June, it would have to be like on the 24th.
Hmm.
Okay, but the reason I had suggested the 10th, again, I'm not set on that date. I'm just saying it was the same weekend we did it last year that was successful as the Saturday school got out.
Right, so we'd have to, like I said, I can give Selena a call tomorrow. And I could ask her what those look like and when she's gonna start, because they start the camp the Monday after the school's out.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
She said they always do that, so I can find out when they're gonna do the camp. And if that's the case, we could do it the Saturday before that Monday. That's what we did last year and it worked out, really good.
That might be good for them to, a bunch of kids around, they could inform people that they have this going on.
Yeah,
Sure.
we come up with a movie. We could, we could do maybe a special meeting.
Oh, if we need to vote on something.
Yeah, we can come up with a
You need to
special
vote on the
meeting.
cost. You need to, when you pick your
Yeah.
movie, you gotta find out what the cost is for
Right,
the,
that's what we
the
gotta,
licensing.
so, yeah, so we need to know what movie we want to show. Maybe, maybe we can, as we do this in April, see, that only gives us,
well, maybe
Right.
Angela can reach out to Swank now and take the top 10 movies we're thinking of and ask how much they cost.
Yeah, I
And if
think
they're
if we
available.
get, well, we can always try and allocate a cost not to exceed. If we know what the most expensive, movie is in theory, then we
well,
just.
remember they went up.
Yeah, but I'm saying that whatever it is we're asking for, we don't have to hit the amount directly. We just, as
No.
long as we,
We paid,
Yeah.
$425 last year.
so if we
What
say
was-
5 or 550 or.
What was the number of people we had in attendance last year approximately?
About 220, about somewhere between 215 and 220.
And how many had you estimated when you talked to Swank?
Oh, less than that.
No, I told
We
them,
never
I told
had that
them,
many people.
yeah, I said for the hell of it, I told them anywhere between 175 and 225.
Oh, okay, well, that seems.
I
Did they
just-
base the cost on our attendance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's about royalties for the.
Well, then estimate it lower.
Well, that's why I'm
No.
bringing it up. So should I say 150 to 200 in case we get short,
Yeah, I
200?
think that's safe.
Okay.
Me, I'd say 100 to 150, because that was what our normal attendance was.
Well, I also don't think we promoted it as much in the
Is
same way.
it- But I don't think it's in any difference anymore, whether 100 people or 200 people. It's the same
Hmm.
price, she said.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm the one that talked to the lady last year. I got the
Chris,
movie.
you have discussed movie night on the agenda. But we don't have voting on money. Can we do that tonight? Can you vote on a not to exceed amount so that we could at least get that started at the April board meeting?
I don't believe we can.
We
But
don't
that's-
know what it's gonna run us. I mean, are we gonna do this? We gotta have the trucks there, then.
Yeah, but
you
you
I
know,
can
think we
look at last year's budget and do it like what Chris said, not to exceed $800 or something. We can always go lower. We have plenty of money.
Hmm.
You know, can we at least put a motion through so we can get the ball rolling?
I don't think we can because it wasn't on the agenda.
It says discuss movie night.
Yeah, but it does, well, I mean, I suppose somebody could challenge it, but,
I mean, yeah, but we could do that, discuss the movie. We could still put a price on it because then it says everything on this thing could be a motion.
oh,
Doesn't,
that's a good point. All right.
yeah, it doesn't say
So does
anything.
somebody want to
Always-
make a motion to say that we want to not to exceed $1,000 for a movie night sometime in June or July, you know, details to be advised. Can we do that?
Why not?
Okay, I make a motion to authorize no more than $1,000 to have a movie
No, it's
night.
too much.
Oh. 1,000, well,
That's too
okay, 800 then?
Sure, 800.
Yeah,
Okay, motion to put forward no more than $800 for a movie in the park night, either in June or July.
I'll second.
Okay, so it's moved by Kelly Miller and seconded by Thomas Norman.
Did you get the
Um,
wording, Angela?
I think so. I'm gonna double check it and read it back. But go ahead. I'll double check.
You can always listen to the recording.
That's true. That's a good point.
I'm going to, is there any discussion on this? All right, I'm going to call the question. Thomas Norman,
Aye.
Chris Valle, aye. Angela Sumner,
Aye.
John Barbera,
aye.
Lori Jacobs,
One last vote, aye.
Yay,
and
Lori.
Kelly Miller.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries unanimous.
You forgot Ben.
No, I
Ben-
think it's money, right?
Yeah, it is money.
Yes, money.
Oh,
So I
okay.
When do,
can't vote.
when do you turn 18 anyway?
This year, December 15th.
All right. No, we'll catch on the flip flop. All right, so motion carries. Yeah, we'll float it and see what happens. And the good thing, and John brought this up when I talked to him earlier, is that in the process of planning this, we will have then a framework if we decide we want to put another one in this year after the fiscal year, new fiscal year begins.
Why-
We'll have enough
Is
time.
your- Chris, is your phone on too?
No.
It's echoing back.
Really?
I think it was coming from Kelly's. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think it was coming from Kelly. Yeah.
Oh,
It's happened
Kelly,
before. and I-
are you on a cell phone, Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you got to mute because it backtracks Chris's, okay.
Chris, you need to send that motion to the Budget and Finance Committee for their
Okay.
April meeting.
All right. I will, let's see. Send to Melanie. Cool. All right. So again, I think what we do it, we already obviously have, just based on past events, we have the framework laid out. So if we then come up with short lists of movies, and then if you think if you have a strong, I would say work backwards from a theme and think of what films and other activities might fit into that. In terms of something that would cover, like, runtime of the movie, hopefully not much more than 90 or 100 minutes, and then an hour and a half or two preceding that, so if we have a total of maybe a 3.5 hour event, it doesn't go too early or start too early in the afternoon.
Preferably rated G, maybe a PG at best.
Yeah, that's I was looking at School of Rock, and that's PG-13, and so
Yeah,
there's drug references, I suppose. So that also our rating, I would say PG should be a hard cap. We need to keep it.
For sure. Lyle Lyle Crocodile is available and it is PG and it's 106 minutes. So I will add it to the list.
Okay.
Is it a sing-along?
It
And
does
it's music.
what?
I know it's got music, but a sing-along means they actually have the words on the screen and a little bouncing ball.
Oh, that I don't know, but I know it has
Yeah.
songs.
Because years
Well,
ago
even-
at Warner Graham, they did a sing-along for Frozen, and the whole theater, I think you were there, Angela, the whole theater was singing that.
Yeah, and I mean, but any movie, I remember last year she was telling us that any movie can have a sing-along, is whether it's available.
Yeah.
That was the
Right, that's
problem.
why I was asking if it was
Yeah.
available.
I don't
Yeah.
see a sing-along.
Okay, it was just an idea.
It's
The
a
kids
cute-
probably know the music anyway.
Yeah, well, and we can also, in our research, we can look for ones that are specific, sing-along movies.
They just become interactive then. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. All right. So I'll email Melanie about the motion for the allocation. John or Angela, can you reach out to Selena about the dates?
Yeah, I'll reach out to Selena. And
Yeah,
then
CC
Angela's
me.
gonna reach out to Swank,
Okay.
Mhm.
and her and I will bump heads and see what we come up with.
All right. And
Well, not really bump heads,
yeah. And if anybody has, well, between now and April 24th, if you have sort of a lightning bolt idea where you something that kind of wraps things in and you think other people, you know what I mean? Like if you get sort of a more complete image, don't hesitate to sort of email that out and in terms of a heads up so that if other people have stuff to add to it, we might have more to work
Yeah,
on. Like
and-
it could be,
And even more, if anybody comes up with some movies that that you want, just email Angela and I.
Yeah,
'cause we'll
I'll
have the
come up
list
with
of
the
you-
list when I talk to Swank.
Chris,
Send any ideas to me and I'll add them to it so I
Yeah.
can get a price.
Send them to her, and so
But-
that way she can check on that too.
but Chris, were you asking about movies or were you asking about other events? Like, I
No,
thought you were, yeah,
No, what I meant was that if you come up with something that you think might turn into we want to create like an evening, right? Or whatever. And so sometimes we eat up a lot of time because we'll have an idea, but then it takes a while to act on it. And since our increment of time is a month, if we have a few of those, like, even if it's like, well, what if we do, the Summer of Love and we need to find, headbands or whatever. If anybody brings that stuff up, then we have just a little bit more time to act on or do a little research before the next meeting, as opposed to having to discuss it in April and then hopefully try to get it done before May.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
maybe
I
like
think John
Lori said,
was also, John, weren't you looking at other events that are happening in San Pedro
yeah,
that possibly would
I'm
have like
looking at,
Fleet
yeah.
Week?
Yeah, like Pride and, Fleet Week and all of that. There's a couple of things actually, I'm talking to Elise about it. And, and I told her I'd call her this week.
Yeah,
And,
Fleet Week in particular, I know they've already contacted me. That's going to be in May.
and then I think she told me that Music by the Sea is going to start up again
Yeah.
this year. So, there's a lot. I mean, we do a booth usually if most of us,
That's a pain dragging out our
I
easy
know,
up to 5
I know that
Sundays.
I'd rather, I'd rather do the first Thursday. I think that's a good idea if we can, and matter of fact, we can get some stuff, like Lori said, I can go through Oriental Trader and see what stuff they have that, kids could put together that's wrapped up in, in saran, like the Christmas stuff that we did. It's sealed off in little baggies. So I'll look and see what they have for some summer fun
But
stuff.
if you're going to talk to Elise, John, ask her about, can we get a spot for first Thursday? Like, how do we do that? Is it even
Yeah.
doable?
Okay.
Like
Okay.
maybe outside Sirens.
Okay. Do we go through her, or do we tell?
You need to go through her. Otherwise it would look not right.
Yeah. Elise, yeah. Okay.
Maybe we could do it in front of Pedro Pet Pals or something. Angela, our animal liaison.
Okay. Got it.
All right, guys, are we about done?
Yeah, I
I am
believe
gonna go
so.
play with my grandson.
I think
He
we
can hear
had
me
covered.
talking in the car.
Yeah, I think we have a real good backbone of ideas
Yeah.
and action items.
I'm glad we got a vote in, so.
Yeah,
We can do that.
I
Yeah.
vote no on the Lori's case, in case anybody asked.
yeah.
There was no vote.
It's a vote of confidence.
Pastor Stevenson has his hand
Oh.
raised.
Adam, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. So from here, what would be my next steps of being a part of this committee?
Oh,
Oh, we would, I guess I can, if that's what you would like to do, I can bring that up with the motion about Lori at the next executive.
yep. Add one, take one away.
Wait.
So,
That would be great.
So
Oh.
does that sound what you, sound like what you'd like to do?
Yes.
All right, well, I will then, I'll email Vic and Ray, just get it on the agenda and we'll knock it out.
Now, are we still doing a donations?
What?
Are we still getting donations when they want to join? I mean, I'm just,
As much as you care to give. Sandwiches, beverages, I
Thank
don't
you,
know.
thank you, Pastor Stevenson, for
Yeah.
wanting to join this committee.
Kind
That's-
words, kind words.
Oh, yes,
Fantastic.
definitely.
yeah, that's awesome that you're doing this, man. We could always use the extra hand in the person, especially you.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
this is really where, I think this is where the rubber meets the road most often for our vehicle. Like, if we do anything physically out in the community or whatever, this is kind of what people do. Issues comes up with a lot of stuff. Public safety does a lot of important things, but when people like literally see the neighborhood council, this is most often where it happens. So I think we have an additional, opportunities, but also
Yeah.
additional responsibilities.
Chris, are your in-person meetings also going to start at 5:30? Are you retaining that time?
Oh,
We
that's
changed that time for Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't
that's
know if it's going to be difficult for anybody to go from work to be there at 5:30 in person. I just thought I'd ask.
that I thank you very much, because I believe,
Well, we're all here right now, so we could ask everybody.
well, does anybody have a preference? I wouldn't mind going a half hour
I'm in
later.
my car though, remember, I'm not home.
Right. So like, for instance, Kelly, how would it like, I'm assuming earlier would not be better for you, but what sort of time would be easiest?
5:30 is fine, 5:30 or 6 is good.
Okay,
It's just today I had matrix training, so I just kind of got done with one and time for another one.
gotcha. So what do people feel, for me?
Why don't you poll each person?
Yeah, Thomas?
Seeing it's going to be in person, I think an extra half hour would help a lot if I'm coming from work.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to go run up to your computer when you just got home, but I've got kids to feed and things, so I'd like a half hour later.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
For the same
6
reasons.
o'clock. Well, that's what we used to do
6
before.
is
in the
good,
beginning.
yeah.
All right, well, let's just say, I'll put 6 on for the, I'll edit
Angela,
the,
you good with that?
yeah, I think 6 is better.
and it just,
Pastor
and it
Adams,
still
is
doesn't,
6 good?
Yes, 6 is perfect because actually my daughter runs track, so I think
Oh.
it'll work.
right,
Yes.
and it doesn't take us too late either.
Yeah. Lori, 6 o'clock is good for you?
Shut up.
We almost
John,
got
you have to notify them at the building then, right?
Yes. So if we all agree to 6 o'clock, and I'll get a
Great.
hold of
Did
Christian.
you ask
and-
Ben? Did you ask
Yeah,
Ben?
yeah. 6 is a lot better because 5:30 I'd just be like coming from track and then it'd
Yeah,
be
it seems like a lot of
very
people are
late.
just getting done.
Yeah.
Okay, glad I brought it up.
Thank
Good
you.
thing.
I will see you soon. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Okay.
Kelly.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll change the time. I will send, I sent, I did since I'll send him a new schedule, same thing, but just change the time to 6.
And does Christina have this on her calendar on the website? Does she need to change? She needs to put the meetings are in person and put the new time?
I will email her about that. I don't know. I'm assuming other people have contacted them, her about their meetings as well, but we're doing venue, time, bunch of logistical changes. So I'm just gonna, once we get, I'm gonna email her about all that stuff anyway.
And if we start the meeting at 6, I forgot, do we have to be out of that room by a certain time?
Well, we used to do, usually by 7:30, we were done. I thought it was like, I thought it was 8 o'clock, wasn't it? I think.
It was 8 or 9,
I
so
honestly
7:30
don't
should be fine.
remember any, I
Yeah.
don't remember any pre-COVID stuff.
It's been that long.
Yeah,
I don't ever remember being there particularly late, but I do remember on occasion oh, maybe it was because other meetings were coming. I don't know, but I do remember like having a hard out is not the worst idea
Right.
anyway. Just forces you to kind of move the things along.
Very-
Yeah, but John, just ask, since you're calling to change the time, just ask
Yeah.
him if there's a time to be out of there.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Yeah, Christian's gonna be the one opening the rooms for us.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he works for. the-
Yeah, that's what he does.
1-5.
That's, so I'll send him tomorrow. I'll change the time to 6 o'clock. And, you know, so he knows, you know, I've done every one of them, I think 2-hour, you know, windows. And then I'll
Okay.
see what, we got with
Did-
this one. So,
Does the pastor have another question or is his hand still up from before?
I think it's up from before.
Okay.
But if you want to ask another question, that's always great.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
he took it down.
All right.
Okay,
Well, with all that having been said,
Good meeting.
yeah, good meeting. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
And
I'm not
Second.
gonna second it.
do I hear a second?
Yeah, I said I seconded.
Oh, okay, seconded by Laura Jacobs. All right, so without objection, then we're going to adjourn this meeting. Any objections?
Have a good week, everybody.
Thanks very much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Everybody have
Thank
fun.
you.
Good talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.